So again, I was asked to do a video on why Christians should not just let anybody put their hands on them. And they even went as far as to say nurses, doctors, hairstylists, nail techs. I just want to get a little deeper on that because I'm sure people are wondering, should Christians let people in church put their hands on them? That's really what's important. Because like I said, just because you call yourself a Christian doesn't mean you're a Christian. And just because you say you're a believer doesn't mean that you believe. And just because you have a title doesn't mean that it was given to you by God. There are a lot of pastors that should not be pastors. There are a lot of prophets who should shut their mouths because God did not call them to be prophetic or prophets. They probably are prophetic, but God didn't call them to be no prophet. Because in the Bible, it talks about how people will come to Jesus and say, well, I prophesied in your name. I did this in your name. I did that in your name. And he will say, but I know you not. So yeah, there are going to be people who should just not be doing what they're doing because God looks at the heart. And sometimes it's all about them. And when you understand what a Christian is, it's not all about you. It's about God getting all the glory from your life and from what you're doing. Does that mean we're going to be perfect? Absolutely not. Because all of us at some point are one way or another are going to fall short. But nonetheless, that does mean that we understand that it's not about us. We can't be healing the sick and then saying, I did that. No, because they need to understand that God allowed me to do this. This was not my doing. This was from the help of the Lord. God allowed me to be able to heal you. Thank God, not me. I'm glad I helped you, but the glory goes to God. Whew, okay. So, and this is why it's important when you are going to a church that you are going to a church that is good for you. You have the freedom to choose what church you want to go to. And if you know that that church is what you need, like I said, sometimes churches are not always what you want, but it's what you need. And that's where you need to go, to a place that you need to be so that you can grow. Because if there is no accountability at that church, if they just let you sin and direct the choir, and there is no accountability, there is no correction. And after all of the accountability and correction, and sometimes discipline, like you got to sit down for this service, that leader should still be able to help you so you don't keep making the same mistake. It shouldn't just sit down. But he don't never tell you what's wrong and how you can not make that same mistake again. So again, these are your choices. God don't say, oh, you have to go to this church. No, you just make sure that they follow the principles and the foundation of what the Bible is telling us. And that's why you get to know God for yourself. So you know, and that's why you know the word for yourself. So you know that the pastor is not feeding you a bunch of mess.